First of all, I'd like to welcome David Ness from the Student Counselling Centre, who's going to be sharing a bit of information on how students can reach out to some resources. And yeah, if you'd like to introduce yourself, David, go for it.
Sure. Thank you very much. As you heard, my name is David Ness, and I am the director of the Student Counselling Centre here at the University of Manitoba. I'm also an associate professor, and my background is in clinical psychology.
Wonderful. That's good to know. So would you like to tell us a little bit about the Student Counselling Centre?
Absolutely. So our service, first and foremost, provides mental health support to only students. Okay, so you have to be a registered University of Manitoba student to get mental health support from us. And we offer support in a variety of different ways. Now, while I do say that you have to be a student, there is one exception to that I do want to mention. And that is if a student would like couple counseling for them and their partner, only one person has to be a student, not both of them. So, if the student reaches out to us and their partner's a non-student, that's not a problem. We can still do couple counseling for them. So just to mention that. So our services, the primary services that students access with us are individual counseling, group counseling, and workshops. Those are the three primary things. And I'll just differentiate, if it's okay, between a group and a counseling workshop, because they're not the same. I'll start with a counseling group. A counseling group is where a small group of students, anywhere from say 5 to maybe as many as 12, meet weekly with the same professional counselor. It's the same students to talk in depth about a specific topic like anxiety or body image, something like that. So by meeting with the same group of people, you develop comfort and safety, and you can really do a lot of really valuable work and experience a lot of benefits from that. So that's a group. A workshop is a one-time event where you go, and it's more teaching oriented, where you're learning a lot of skills and a lot of techniques to help you manage a situation. In a workshop, there's very little, if any, personal sharing, other than you say your name, maybe what program you're in, but you don't talk about your own unique difficulties. So that's kept private. But you get to practice different techniques. For example, we have a mindfulness meditation workshop that happens weekly. We call it Midday Mindfulness, and a student can go and learn mindfulness meditation techniques. And they're not talking about what's going on in their life, but they're learning something that's extremely valuable. Additionally, we have a stress and distress management workshop series, 3 different workshops. Students can go to 1, 2, or all 3 if they would like. Again, they're learning empirically validated ways to cope and manage stress and distress, which a lot of people have. So that's our workshops. So I just like to emphasize the difference between those when we talk about that. So that's the primary services that we offer. We have a lot of other services too. We do outreach services. So if a student group or a faculty member or staff member approach us and say, hey, David, could someone come to residence and do a program on this? By all means, we will try to do that. And we work with our partners to go where the students are. So I would say to students, if any student groups or other people are interested in something we could maybe create for them, reach out to me and ask, and we'll see what we can do, because it's wonderful to respond when someone has that kind of a request. Lastly, I'll mention that we do learning disability assessment here as well. And to get accommodations for exam writing and maybe even financial support, students do need to undergo a thorough psychological assessment, and that is something that we also provide. All of our services are free, okay? We don't charge, even for letter writing. So we do letter writing when students need that, if they're appealing a grade or asking for authorized withdrawal. If they've met with us before, we can do a letter. Now, if we've never met with you and you come asking for a letter, well, we really can't do that. We don't, we don't know you. But if you've been here, we'll do that as soon as possible. And again, we don't charge for that. So, I mean, students have enough expenses. We're not going to add to that. So it is free. So
Yeah, that's wonderful. A lot of different resources and ways to get connected, both like one-on-one and in groups. That's quite amazing. Yeah. And how would a student get in contact with Student Counselling Centre?
A really good question. So one primary way right now, because we haven't opened up the doors for in-person, it's August right now, but once September happens, our doors will be open and a student can either come in person or phone us. Our phone number is 204-474-8592. Now, when September starts, the only in-person service we're going to have is the initial intake appointment. Now, what that is if a student wants individual counseling or just not sure what service they need or want from us, they can request an initial intake appointment with one of our intake triage workers, and they'll be invited to choose to do that in person or remotely by telephone or video, whatever they're comfortable with. So we can do some in person. So if someone drops by, we can do that. We're not offering any other services in person in the fall because our space doesn't allow for 2-meter separation for ongoing counseling appointments and so forth. So it wouldn't be safe. So we're hoping that, eventually we're able to do that sooner rather than later, but in the fall, we're not able to do that just yet. So really just give us a call. Probably easiest for them to phone us really, because you can do that from wherever you are. We're open 8:30 to 4:30, Monday through Fridays, and someone will answer. If our receptionist is busy with someone, you might have to leave a message or call back, but we will get back to you. And then we can look at what we can offer. And our receptionists are very skilled at letting students know about their options too. So one thing I'll mention right here too, if I may, to students, when you're looking for mental health support, most people want to meet with someone one-on-one. I get it. That's what I would want to do too. However, keep in mind that you can get excellent help from our groups and workshops, and often get more help from that more quickly, because I know our workshops, and we're updating our website. It will be updated by the end of August and list all of our workshops and groups for the fall. We have 1 or 2 or even 3 a day. Often you can register a day ahead, if not even less time ahead, and get some help right away and really make a difference in your life and feel better. So don't just think that it has to be one-on-one. Consider those other options too, because research shows that for some difficulties, group workshops are more effective than individual work. So individual is not always the best. So just please keep that in mind. But yeah, just give us a call. That's probably the best way.
Wonderful. Yeah, very easy and accessible there at the Student
Mhm.
Counseling Center.
Mhm.
Yeah, and if you don't mind me asking, where is the Student Counseling Center office located?
Sure, it's room 474 University Center, right beside the registrar's office, right beside where you used to go to get your picture ID. So people had to see our doors. We're right there. So that's where we're located. Yeah, so you can come by, and again, you can do in person. Although, okay, if you're not comfortable, you don't feel safe to do that, give us a call. We're still offering everything remotely, so you won't lose out if you aren't comfortable coming in person, because we certainly want to respect your safety needs.
Wonderful. That's a great point to mention.
Mhm.
Yeah, do you have any other education or resources or things available that students should know about?
Yes, we do. One of the things that we would encourage students to do is to take a look at both our Instagram feed. One of our counselors is managing that, and it has topics that are discussed, interviews, sometimes brings other counselors on to introduce themselves. So it's a great way to get to know us a little bit more. Plus, students are invited to go to our website. On our website, we're gradually building it up to have more and more resources, kind of self-help resources. So currently we have a page on our website you can click on how to manage during the COVID pandemic and deal with stress. So we have some suggestions there. We also have something on how to manage grief and loss, because everyone has lost something during the pandemic. Some of us sadly have lost people that have been dear to us. Of course, that's horrific, but everyone has lost other things, freedoms, experiences, maybe jobs, and that can be tough. Sometimes we don't even have words to describe that kind of grief, but we have a write-up on that. We also have some information on how to manage if someone close to you has died by suicide, which is a tragedy. It can be really gut-wrenching when that happens, and it can be a struggle to cope. We have some information on what you can do about that, just to read something and give you some suggestions that, again, are empirically validated. Finally, we're putting up on our website, and that will be up by the end of August too, suggestions and strategies on how to pay attention more effectively and concentrate better. We know we've heard from a lot of students that attending, concentrating has been really tough with the remote learning, and it's been a struggle. So one of our staff who has expertise in that has developed some really good resources for the website, and we're just waiting for it to be loaded up. So encourage students to take a look at that too. One last thing I'll mention is, if you need help outside of our working hours, if you just click on Student Counseling Center, we have a list of all off-campus crisis resources that are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So you can reach out, and there's lots of them, right? You don't have to remember them, just go to that site, click on one, and you can connect and get some support.
Absolutely. Yeah, the website has a lot of incredible resources, not just on campus, but off campus as well. And that's incredible that you guys are providing that for students.
Mhm. Yeah, well, we try to do our best. I mean, there's a lot of need out there, and I'll say this to students as well. If you need mental health support, that doesn't mean you're weird, doesn't mean you're weak, doesn't mean you shouldn't be here. university's tough. There's a lot of things going on. It's a long time to be here and life happens. And you may need some additional support beyond what you can give yourself or get from your family, your friends. And lots of people come to us every year needing that support. People who are very successful in their studies and their career plans. So, don't criticize yourself if you need some of that support and reach out. We do, invite you to consider you using supports of your friends and family first if you can, because they're readily available. But if they're not there, or sadly, sometimes the problem is with friends and family, then you can't go there, well, certainly reach out to us. We've increased our intake services and the amount of initial appointments we have daily, so we can bring people in more effectively too. So it's easier to get into us than ever before.
Yeah, absolutely. That's wonderful.
Mhm.
And Tino, any questions from yourself?
No, I don't think I had any. Just to say thank you so much for the time and just for sharing that information. And yeah, I'm sure I know for a fact actually that it's going to be very valuable to students. So awesome. Yeah, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, and glad to be of help. And if either of you have questions, feel free to be in touch. And again, to students, if you just want to learn about us, go to our website, check us out, and you can learn more. And to our international students, also just to let them know that, our records, because I get this question more from international students than domestic students, our records are independent of every other record that exists. So it's not connected to your student file or a health record with a medical doctor. It's only with us. So it's private, it's secure. It's not going to impact your student status or your visa application, because no one's going to know you're here unless you want us to write a letter on your behalf, and you obviously give us permission for that. So please know that. And we work to be very culturally aware and sensitive, so no one's going to try to get you to change your culture or your belief system that way, because we all have our own unique spiritual belief systems, cultural perspectives that are incredibly valuable to us, and we want to work with you within that to help you with whatever your needs are.
Wonderful. That's absolutely incredible to know. Thank you very much, David.
You're welcome.
Another thank you to David Ness from the Student Counselling Centre for joining us today and for sharing what the SCC is all about. There are tons of great resources available through them whenever you or someone you know may need them. Here are the ways that you can get connected with the Student Counselling Centre. Thanks again for joining UMSU for another Student Services info session. Take care.